iced orange cake. And this is just a lovely variation on a classic genoise cake. A genoise cake is quite moist. It's a lovely moist sponge. And this has got a really simple, gorgeous orange icing on top. I use this orange variation because I just love the zesty flavour. I really love the intense citrusness of this. And it's so good with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. First of all, I need to melt the butter. So I've got the 100 grams of butter, or 3.5 ounces. And I'm going to just put it onto the hob here, allow it to melt. While the butter is melting, I'm going to whisk up 2 eggs with the grated zest of 1 orange. You can use lemon instead of orange in this cake if you wish. Gives it a lovely flavour too. So finely grated orange zest like this. And do make sure when you're grating the zest that you just grate down to where it's still kind of orange in colour, not down to the bitter white pith. You don't want that. I'm going to keep the orange because I need the juice for the icing. Add 100 grams of castor and 100 grams of icing sugar. And start whisking it. Just on a low speed first of all, so the icing sugar doesn't go everywhere. Once the icing sugar is kind of incorporated, turn up the speed. It'll take about 5 minutes until it's really nice and light and fluffy and quite pale in colour. Just check the butter. Allow the butter just to cool down very gently while you continue whisking the eggs with the castor, the icing sugar and the orange zest. So after about 5 minutes of whisking, the eggs, the 2 sugars and the grated orange zest, quite quickly fold in the butter, almost completely, like that is fine. And then add in the 125 grams of flour with 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Sifting in the flour, you're also kind of incorporating a little bit of air in there. Okay, just fold in the flour. I have an oven preheated to 180 degrees and I've got a 20 centimetre round cake tin lined in the base with a round of greaseproof or parchment paper, and then the sides have been buttered. Then as soon as the mixture is mixed together, all folded together nicely, pour the cake mixture gently into the prepared tin, and then as soon as you can pop it straight into the oven. About 35 minutes later, or once the cake is cooked, take it out of the oven, allow it to sit in the tin for about 5 or 10 minutes just in order for it to set slightly. Then take it out of the tin, pop it on a cooling rack and allow it to cool completely before you ice it. So the cake has cooled now, it's ready to ice, and it's got this gorgeous, almost sugary crust, like a brownie that you get on top. Now I'm going to make the icing, and the icing is a plain, basic, simple glacé icing. I've got 100 grams of sifted icing sugar, and I need to bring the icing sugar together with the juice of an orange. I might not need the juice of all the orange though, I might only need about a tablespoon. So just add a little bit first, see how you get on, and then you can add a little bit more. This gives you a gorgeous orange icing, rather than adding just water to the icing sugar. Add just a little few drops first, and bring it together. If it will come together. Nope, needs a little bit more. I want a slightly runny icing for this. This is more of a drizzling icing than a set icing that's going to cover the top and the sides. It's too dry and paste-like. I'm going to add some more orange juice, just another few drops. Nearly drizzling consistency, but not quite. That's better. Pop the cake on a nice cake stand and then simply just drizzle it. It's lovely icing. If you want to completely cover the top, you can, of course, use about 200-250 grams. But it's quite a rich icing because of the lovely orange juice. So I tend to just drizzle it generously. This is an incredibly citrusy, fresh cake, but it has a wonderful moist texture on the inside. It's quite unlike a plain sponge. And it keeps, like so many cakes with fruit in it, with fruit juice and with fruit zest, it keeps, and you know what, it actually even almost improves over a couple of days. I love this cake. Fantastic with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. So good. And there's my iced orange cake.